WZR Radio starts now. You can call into the show at 724-444-7444 using call ID 30273#.
Coming up for air so I can check myself again, and I'm down. Moving to the man, but sheltered.
Now, here's your hosts, Ryan Clark and Jose Rivera.
What it is, what it do, what it be. Welcome to the February 24th, 2009 edition of WZR Radio here on WZROnline.com. I'm, as always, Ryan Clark. What up to the people in the chat? Lots of people in the chat already tonight, and we got a lot lined up for you. We had Monday Night Raw last night, and lots of news and rumors. A couple pretty big releases over the past week that we're going to be talking about here tonight. But as always, before I get to any of that, Jose Rivera from Stamford, Connecticut. What's up, brother?
Mr. Rivera!
Dude, if I could do the tongue roll thing, that dude, you got that thing going on with your cell phone again. It always does it at the very start of the show. You always get that. It's like I know you're on your. You did something messed up. We talked before the show, and you went to charge your house phone, and you screwed up or something, right?
Unfortunately, it moved from the charger, so it's actually charging now, so I should be fine after the second hour.
Yeah, it should be cool. As long as once we get you in one spot, we're fine for like the rest of the show. You know what I mean? At least till hour number one. But it seems fixed now. I think it's like when we first start talking. It's weird, dude, because when I called you just about 10 minutes ago, because we talk before we go live. Like I was doing it for the first minute, and then all of a sudden it goes away. So I think we're good.
I'm hoping it's fine. I know I have AT&T, and signal goes on and off. There goes the bar.
Yeah, no doubt. Hey, we got a lot to talk about tonight. We Monday Night Raw we had last night, and what else? We have the TNA Impact tapings tonight. Lots of news, man. We had a couple releases over the past week from both promotions, WWE and TNA, which we're going to talk about. Of course, we got WrestleMania. WrestleMania is 6 weeks away from Sunday, so under 6 weeks now. 5 more weeks of TV build starting next week with Monday Night Raw. So, yeah, we got a lot to talk about. Not much has changed in WrestleMania land since we talked last week. I mean, pretty much the same matches that we talked about last week are still confirmed. No word on Mickey Rourke yet, but it seems like after watching Raw last night, they're kind of shying away from that. Maybe, you know what it seems to me? It seems like they're going to have like a match with a bunch of legends and Jericho, and then all the legends beat down Jericho at Mania during that match. Yeah.
It could be, or they can simply is throw in another legend in the mix and perhaps have a lumberjack match and have, the legends around the ringside against, let's say Piper or Snuka or whomever they decide to pair up with Jericho. So either or, it's going to be awesome.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, we'll see where they go with that. We're going to talk about WrestleMania in just a little bit once we get the news and rumors, and we're going to take your calls in hour number. Well, we'll take some calls in hour number 1 too when we run down Monday Night Raw. Like I said, we have the TNA Impact tapings tonight. We had them last night as well. No SmackDown spoilers tonight or ECW. They were taped last week. We had a double TV taping, so no SmackDown and ECW tonight. ECW was taped last night prior to Raw, and boy, the main event of that show. Well,
interesting.
I don't want to spoil it for anybody, but what have they done to Christian Cage already?
Interesting. Well, let's just leave it as that. When I read, and I normally don't like to read them, I like to actually kind of be surprised, but I was just curious to see zeros after that, the new contract that Christian signed with WWE?
All I'm thinking, man, is the draft. The draft is coming up. It's all about, like, look at this is a stupid example, but look at Dancing with the Stars, right? Up on TMZ, they put the full roster before it was officially announced. The media went and figured it out, right? And they put everybody that was going to be on Lawrence Taylor and who else? Denise Richards. All the people that are going to be on Dancing with the Stars. They put that up, right? And Dancing with the Stars doesn't go out and say, "Oh shoot, this leak to the media, we're going to change all these people. Now we're not going to use all these people." That's part of what the media is. The media is there to pick apart. Not necessarily spoil. I mean, anything that's a spoiler on the website has the word spoiler right in the title. So, I mean, no one's force-feeding anyone to read this, you know what I mean? You guys can read what you want in the spoilers. I don't mean to come across as arrogant, because it seems like I am, but it's just, it's just people have a choice of what they read, whether it's a spoiler or whether it's just regular news or, whatever it is. But for WWE to change an entire angle, a big angle, that was supposed to lead into WrestleMania just because a news report leaked out to the internet, I think that's a little overdone, don't you think?
A little bit, yeah. I mean, we take credit for a lot of stuff, but even Vince said it himself. Internet only counts. Well, this was like maybe 3 or 4 years ago. 20% of viewership, that looks online, to read the dirt sheets, the smart ones in the business. He's catering to the other percentage, the higher percentage, and it's still that way. A lot of people don't go online. A lot of people don't know these angles. But the reality is, I don't think that angle was changed just because of the leakage. I think, and sometimes it may be good for them. They need to challenge themselves. They need to challenge themselves. If that is the question, then viewers should thank us for leaking it, because the angle that we saw in the last 2 pay-per-views with Hardy turning and Edge winning the title, I think that has really put more of a stronger perspective of Christian coming in, because it was too obvious. So I think maybe the fans should thank us for releasing that information to change things around, because the way they change things around, it's pretty hot.
Or maybe WWE should thank. Hey, there's that nasty sound again, brother. Ouch. I was gonna say WWE should thank us for that 4.1 rating last week, huh? Monday Night Raw, did you see that last week? 4.1, baby.
Impressive. And the second hour was what, 4.4, 4.5 or something?
Yeah, something crazy like that, man. Something off the hook. But keep in mind the overrun last week went a little bit long too. I think it went to about 11:15. So that kind of, that factors in. Usually the overrun is the highest rated segment of Raw, anyways. But still, a 4.1 last week was. Yeah, man. Well, I checked the Nielsen media rankings before I came on the show live here tonight, and nothing was out yet. But maybe we'll have this week's Raw rating before we go off the air by 9 o'clock. Lead you guys into ECW tonight. We also got the presidential address by Obama. He's going to talk about the economy and a bunch of other stuff at 9 o'clock when we go off the air. So you got your choice between Obama or ECW. A couple more plugs here. We got sidetracked there on the Christian thing, but you can check out the official website of WZR Radio at WZROnline.com. Change your bookmarks. If you guys got WZR Radio bookmark, go to WZROnline.com and switch it up. No TNA Impact tapings tonight. Let me tell you something about the TNA Impact tapings. Actually, I want to tell all you guys something about the TNA Impact tapings. Got a new guy. His name is John or Josh Benoit. No relation to Chris, but Josh or John. He attends the TNA Impact tapings every single Monday and Tuesday night that they do them, the bi-weekly TV tapings that they do. So we worked out a deal yesterday. He emailed me, and we got a permanent deal in place for TNAWrestlingNews.com, my TNA website. It's only TNA news. That's all we put up. No WWE stuff over there. So if you're a TNA fan, TNAWrestlingNews.com. So basically, at least on Mondays, he is going to text message me the results live from the Impact tapings, and we're going to put them up on that website. So every week, like there's a TNA Impact taping tonight, and he texted me before we went on the show and said, "Hey, how are we going to do this tonight?" And I said, "Man, I'm doing the radio show from my cell phone." So I mean, if he were to be texting me, right now, I'd be getting text last night. Let me tell you, I don't mean to keep ranting on this, but last night he sent 116 text messages, dude. 100 from 4 o'clock in the afternoon until 9 o'clock last night, right before Raw started. 116.
Is this guy lonely?
Dude, no, he would say stuff like crowd chanting Shelly, Shelly. And then he would send stuff like Suplex by Robert Roode. And it went on, and the thing kept beeping and beeping and beeping, and I was trying to keep up, and I'm like, damn, dude.
So it sounds like you got the JR, the text messaging going on there.
I can't text for shit, man. I mean, it takes me 10 minutes just to type a sentence and then get it sent. You know what I mean? So this guy was just, I appreciate everything it does. But anyways, I told him today, I said, dude, just do a match out there. Just send me the match, what the match is, and then what happened, like a recap of each match, and then I can do it like that, because that was brutal last night to have to do. And anyways, so tonight he's there tonight, but he's going to send me a recap. He's going to text it, a big full recap later on, and I'm going to type it up. So anyways, the moral of the story is, guys, TNAWrestlingNews.com is going to have live Impact spoiler coverage every single Monday night, and possibly Tuesday if I can find another way to get those results to me while I do this live radio show. What else, man? What else? So how was the weekend? Weekend was all right? Not much? What'd you do?
Not much, man. Getting a haircut, do my workout ritual like I normally do, hit the batting cages. Season's coming up, and I'm going to Puerto Rico tomorrow.
Are you really? You're leaving? Are you serious?
6 a.m. tomorrow morning.
6 a.m. for Puerto Rico for how long? Just
until Sunday. No, just Sunday. I wish a couple of weeks.
Where, you got family out there?
I got family, but I'm just going for a little small vacation, trying to recoup. And then I got a meeting over there too, a quick meeting. But yeah, that's something I look extremely forward to. It's too cold for me over here, man.
That's awesome, dude. That is awesome, because it's cold. It's cold up here, man. It's crazy, man. It's been so cold. I know you're in Stanford. I'm in Albany, but it's not that much of a difference. But it is cold, man. Right?
Oh, you're a lot colder, obviously, because it's you're more north and closer to Canada, and you got that wind thing that goes up there around that type of part of the globe. But yeah, it gets cold, man, and then the wind blows, and I'm next to the beach, so you get that cool breeze coming in. It's just like in the summertime, it's awesome, but in the winter, it's just brutal.
Yeah, no doubt. Hey, if you weren't going to Puerto Rico, I'd say they're having a house show. There's actually a house show. Listen, there's a SmackDown house show up in Glens Falls. Glens Falls is like my home arena, my second home arena. The one in Albany, the Times Union Center, that's my home arena. But SmackDown's going to be up there on Saturday or Sunday of this weekend. And I don't know, I was thinking about it. It's only a house show. I don't have tickets or anything like that yet. But I was thinking if I didn't have anything to do next weekend, I might go down there, or I might go up there to Glens Falls, or the Raw brand is down in Poughkeepsie, and I've been to Poughkeepsie numerous times for TNA and ECW back in the day.
Been there twice, actually, for a WWE event.
The Mid-Hudson Civic Center. Bro, isn't that, listen, we could say, isn't that the biggest pile of shit that you've ever seen in your life? I'm serious, man.
I believe you. It actually reminds me, I think my high school gym was a lot more established.
Yeah, exactly, dude. When you look at the high school gyms now, think of your high school gym for all you kids that are still in school. Think of your high school gym and then, cut it in half with, a wall. And you get the Mid-Hudson Civic Center. That's what it is. And there's, little bleachers. One side has bleachers, and the rest is all just chairs around. You can fit, 2,000 to 3,000 people in there, maybe.
Just about. It's almost just like the Westchester County Center in White Plains. It's the same thing. You know, you see 3,000. I like some. It's back then when I used to know a lot more people in the WWE. It was always fun to go to the smaller house shows because it was more personalized. You know, you walk around, you get to talk to the announcers, you get to talk to wrestlers. They come out sometimes, they talk to people. When you deal like an MSG, that's it. Everyone's out. Security's kicking you out the building. But the smaller arenas, you know, you linger around, you can take pictures, see them dismantle the ring, and normally security doesn't really kick you out unless it's a former cop thinking that he's all that and then some because he has security in the back shirt.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, with Glens Falls and Poughkeepsie, both of those arenas are really small. Glens Falls is a lot bigger. I mean, that's like a 6,000, 7,000 seat arena. But the security, like you said, is not all that at either arena. So I have my choice. It's about an hour each way, an hour north or an hour south. And Raw is to the south. SmackDown is to the north, and I may go cover one of those for the show. If a buddy wants to go with me, we'll take a little hour drive up to an event, drink a couple beers up there, and maybe hit up the bars afterwards. You know, make it a good weekend. You know what I'm saying?
It's funny because SmackDown is actually coming to Mohegan, which is 45 minutes, well, an hour. Highway Drive, 45 minutes from me. And they're doing a double taping March 3rd. But I come back on 1st, and that's that Sunday. So I'm not sure if I can, you know, wake up and be alert enough to take a drive up to Mohegan. But it might be an idea. And if I do, we'll definitely keep in touch because obviously the show is going to be on.
Oh yeah, no doubt. We could do something live from the show if you wanted to too. That'd be cool. I did that before and it was tough. I'll let you right now, it's tough. It is. I mean, that was brutal to do a live radio show from inside the arena, but nonetheless, I did it. So, anyways, I have my choice: Raw to the south, SmackDown to the north this weekend. If I want to go and check one of them out, we'll see. And if I do, we'll talk about it next week. I'll let you guys know what went down. I'm a little bit under the weather, man. I had some people over for the boxing. We have Pavlik and Cotto fight this past weekend on pay-per-view. Big boxing fight. They were separate matches, but still a big event. And then we had UFC. I had about 15 people over at the house and threw a little party over the weekend. We always do it for UFC. And somebody was sick, and they screwed me. Because it hit me like last night, and today it's brutal. Wasn't going to do the show tonight, man, but then I said, nah, dude, it's only 6 weeks to WrestleMania. There's no way. There's no calling out sick in this gig, buddy. No, we can't do it, man. So anyways, we're here tonight. And last thing is I had court for a ticket yesterday. You weren't here a couple weeks ago, man, but I got pulled over, suspended license. My sister actually was involved in the suspended license, and anyways, I went before the judge yesterday, and he dropped my suspended tickets, and he dropped my registration. I went and got that fixed a couple weeks ago, so we're all good on that. Wrote me a ticket for a muffler, $75 ticket on that, and no seatbelt. $100 ticket on that, $65 surcharges on both, for a total of about $300 in tickets. Cha-ching!
The state of New York, thank you.
State of New York, thank you.
Now, I'm not going to watch you on Judge Judy, right?
Nah, I should go fight it, though, man. I mean,
She's rough. She's really rough.
No, the judge was cool. I mean, the judge was nice yesterday. I didn't have a problem with her. You know, she was really nice. But it was the cop. Yolanda Vega, too. That's the New York State law. Yeah, I'm Yolanda Vega. It was her husband, dude, that pulled me over. The state trooper was her husband that was the one that got me and wrote me for a ticket. I couldn't believe it, dude. And then he got my car towed, and I talked about it a while back. But nonetheless, anyways, whatever. And then the last thing is advertising companies, bro. I can't stand them. I've been going back and forth between this one company, right? So we're at what's today, the 24th, right? They owe me a lot of money for like the past month, and it was supposed to pay on the 1st, and it's the 24th, and they keep dicking me around. So I've been going back and forth between them, and I threatened a lawsuit today, buddy. I'm fed up.
You dropped the hammer?
I dropped it. Today I dropped, no, because I emailed them a couple weeks ago, and they I don't know, what's the word, they weasel around the, I don't know, they play ring around the rosy, dude. That's the word I'm looking for. And
I can picture them do that too, ring around the rosy.
Yeah, so anyways, I threatened a lawsuit today, and finally they got back, and they have promised that old Ryan Clark will be paid by the end of this week. Although they said that last week too, and nothing happened. So we'll see what happens at the end of this week. I'll give you an update next week, live, baby, live, here on WZR Radio. Huh? All right, man. That's nice. It's nice.
That's nice.
Hey, you got anything else, man, before we get into Monday Night Raw and lots of backstage news?
I'm sure. Let's just go right to it. Who cares? Let's talk about Monday Night Raw. Excuse me.
Excuse me. That's horrible, dude. That is absolutely, when she does that, and I've been there live, man. I was at a SmackDown taping a couple months ago back here in Albany, the one that I did a live show for. Man, the heat that she gets from that crowd, I mean, it's the best heat that I've ever heard for someone, ever, at a live event. And that's a good thing, because they want her to be this terrible heel that you want to hate, and people do. So she's playing the role good. You know, have you ever seen it live where she's out there before? Like,
yeah, you can hardly hear. I mean, even sometimes I've caught it 2 weeks ago, I think it was. That the noise was so bearing that the camera started moving a little bit. That's when you know that it's just like, wow.
Yeah, no, it's crazy, man. It's deafening in that arena, and usually you get like deafening when Steve Austin or somebody comes out. Usually you don't get a deafening sound by the sound of booze. You know what I mean? That's you know what I'm saying? Deafening.
It's remarkable the way how she plays her character. Like I explained to you last week, it's just amazing. Her face expressions, you just know it. You hear Vicky's name, and it's just like, yeah, you know what's the first word going to come out of her mouth, and if she doesn't say it, doesn't feel right.
And she did it last night, man. We had no Raw pyro, right? No Raw pyro, no real opening, and the first words that came out of her mouth were,
"Excuse me."
Not bad, buddy.
I'm trying.
So yeah, she came out, right? She came out and she informed us that with Stephanie McMahon out, take care of, actually she got RKO'd last week, but take care of Shane and Vince. We have a new interim general manager of Monday Night Raw, and her name is
Vicky Guerrero.
Dude, so you can do it. When I was gonna bring you in tonight, right? And I was gonna be like, Jose Rivera, but I can't do the tongue roll thing. So it would have been like Jose Rivera. See, it doesn't come out because I gotta do it. It doesn't come out right. Anyway, Vicky came out, and she's the new general manager of Monday Night Raw. Then we had Edge and Big Show came out to the ring. And Ed started talking some smack about Randy Orton and John Cena. This brought John Cena out, and Cena was, it was the corny Cena last night. It wasn't all corny. It started off okay, but then towards the end, when he got to the jokes about like Big Show and Vicky Guerrero and.
Which you knew that was going to happen when he said, and the Big Show. Like, you knew the character that he was just explaining and talking about was about Vicky, and then he comes out and says, yeah, you brought Big Show too. Thinking that, of course, everyone thought I was talking about Big Show.
Yeah, but do you like that? Do you like the corny
No. It's funny that you say that because there's a YouTube feed right now on WrestleCommunity.com, and it shows John Cena. And there's a clip there that Cena's just shooting, and it's like, wow, like you actually got me in attention, because just the words, the way he's expressed, there's not saying that he's too childish sometimes, but, he can be, and it may come off that way, but at the ending, yeah, it did kind of say, okay, all right, shut up already.
Yeah, so, I mean, Edge went on to tell Cena basically that he was trying too hard to be somebody that he wasn't, brought up names like Austin, Hogan, Bruno Sammartino, and just a bunch of other names. Here goes my dog, dude. Every time during a live show, shut your mouth. Shut your mouth, Reggie. Starts moaning and groaning, dude. All day, and all day long he's cool. All day he's cool. The dog, dude. I could slap him right in the face, man. But that wouldn't be cool. It'd be animal cruelty, and that's no good. So anyways.
We don't do that.
No, we don't do that. I'm good to my dog, man. He gets fed. He gets taken out. He's all right. He's all right. It's just 7 to 9 every Tuesday night. He's got some sort of problem where he's got to bring it up when we're on live radio. You know what I'm saying? But anyways. So Vicky Guerrero, she steps in and she makes the main event for Monday Night Raw. She says it's either going to be John Cena against The Big Show, or it's going to be John Cena versus Edge. One of them is her friend, and the other one is family. Of course, they pulled the swerve at the end of the night there with Chavo, which we'll talk about here in a little bit. So that was the Raw opening segment. Good back and forth banter between Edge and Cena, with Cena a little too corny for me during parts of it. I'm not gonna shit all over it because it wasn't all that bad, but the Cena corniness kind of did it in for me. Edge as a heel, on the other hand, is awesome, dude. Every time that guy gets the mic, another guy that he makes you want to hate him, and he does a great job of it. But I've always been a huge fan of Edge. So that was
he plays the role perfect, and he's just so comfortable. And I believe, don't quote me on this, but 75% of his speeches are usually a shoot, which is norm of The Rock, Stone Cold, all of those guys. All interviews are pretty much shoot and just shooting it from the hip, and just they have a skeleton idea of what they're going to talk about, but for the most part, it's just ranting all over the place.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. They have a rough draft of what they're going to say, but that's not, none of their stuff is scripted lines. They're good enough to go out there and ad-lib, if you will, during their promos. But they have a basic script, obviously, that they follow. But Edge, like you said, is very, very, very good at doing that. And then we had our first match of the night. Actually, let me plug the live chat room before we move on here. It's WZR Online. Live plug. We need little sound clips. You know what I mean? It'd be cool. But WZROnline.com /chat. Lots and lots of people in there tonight. It gets bigger and bigger and bigger every single week. I see Ryan's aunt is in there. Code Breaker's in there. Little Wayne 20 is in there every week.
Lizzie is in there.
Yeah. All the Jericho 133, I think he says he's new, registered for the first time tonight, so that's cool. That's awesome. That's good to see. DJ Red Sox. Johnny Kruger.
Johnny, can't forget about Johnny.
Johnny Kruger. It sounds like Freddy Krueger, doesn't it? That's the producer of the live radio show that we do here every week. Did you already mention Lizzie? Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Donald Long, 91. Randy Knockout, 84. WWE Raw fan. He's in there every single week. Lots of people.
There goes Joe.
Huh?
Hey, Joe. That's it. Joe right there.
Big Joe. Hey, Big Joe.
Hey, how you, Joe? You know Joe over there from freaking Penn Station. You gotta get the numbers.
That's good, baby. I like it.
Hey, whoa. We're recording live. Forget about it. Let's switch subjects. Keep on with the card.
WZROnline.com /chat. There's a couple chat shout-outs for you right now. We'll do some more in a little bit. All you guests that are in there, you are not going to get a shout-out unless you go to TalkShoe.com. Just register, guys. It only takes 2 seconds, and then you guys are set for life. You come back every Tuesday night and get your username and password, and shazam, you're done. That's all you got to do. So just get in the account real quick, and then we'll give you a shout-out. Just refresh the chat if you're on there in a guest name, and enter a user and password. That's all you got to do. It takes 2 seconds, guys. So refresh, come back in, and then tell me you want a chat shout-out, and I'll be glad to give it to you. But if you're under there, if you're there under a guest, screw it. So anyways, Let's take some live phone calls as well. I want to do some in hour number 1. I don't know if we have any yet because I haven't given out the number yet. But nonetheless, let me do that right now. It is area code 724-444-7444. 724-444-7444. Then the lady will come on. She'll ask for enter call ID number, and you enter 30273 followed by the pound key. You can get all that information at WZROnline.com /chat. It is at the bottom of the chat. We'll take live calls here. Let's talk a couple more matches, and then we'll open up some live phone lines here in hour number 1. We've never done that before, so we're going to do that tonight, and then we'll continue it in hour number 2. What was next, Jose? CM Punk and The Miz and John Morrison were in
the Money in the Bank.
The Money in the Bank ladder match opportunity at WrestleMania 25. What do you think, man? Overall, I thought solid work. I mean, when you have Punk, The Miz, and Morrison all in the ring, triple threat match, you're going to see great work from all three. Decent match, top to bottom.
It was good. I was surprised, though. I personally would have liked to see Miz, and it's nothing against CM Punk because I'd rather have CM Punk defend his title at WrestleMania. But I was a little bit surprised when I saw him win. Again, I was kind of hoping for the Miz to, put someone else in there.
Okay, let's take a live call. 74, I think it's 74 from the live chat room. What's on your mind, man? Hello.
Hi guys.
Hi.
Hello.
Both of the world titles are on SmackDown, as you know.
Both of the what?
SmackDown. Both titles on SmackDown.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah.
Which one do you think will go over to Raw?
Which one do I think will go over? Well, it looks like they're doing something with Triple H and Randy Orton over on Raw. So I'm gonna go out on a limb here and say that Triple H and the WWE title are gonna come over to Monday Night Raw. Do you think that's a pretty good guess, Jose?
You must have inside information because I heard the same thing too. But it wouldn't surprise me if we see both titles there until the draft. Not saying I know anything, but it wouldn't surprise me. But if there is, I do see Triple H and his title joining Raw.
Yeah, somebody will come over full-time. Somebody will no doubt come over full-time from SmackDown. Looks like Triple H, obviously, guys. But like Jose said, they may wait to do it permanently until the draft. You're going to have cross-promotion anyways leading into WrestleMania. You know what I mean? You're going to have guys from Raw over on SmackDown. An example of that is Cena. He's going to be on SmackDown this week. Show was taped last week. Full spoilers are up on the news board. Edge, Big Show, Kozlov, Vicky were all at Raw last night. So you're going to have cross-promotion. You know what I mean? Especially with Vicky, now the new general manager of Raw. She could have some of the SmackDown talent come over, and it would make sense storyline-wise, because she could bring her talent over from SmackDown to compete with some of the Raw guys. So, we'll have to wait and see. I think they'll make it official, a full-time thing after WrestleMania at the draft. I agree with you on that one. You want to take another call, or you want to keep running down?
Let's run one match, and then we'll take another call.
Okay, no doubt. We had a backstage segment. The cool thing about Raw last night, man, was they did these backstage skits where, like, Cody Rhodes and Ted DiBiase were like the lookout guys. They would look around and then they'd tell Orton, yeah, it's okay, get out of the car, we can go into the dressing room. I thought that stuff was really, really well done. All those backstage segments were really great. I thought the Raw ending, you could tell that was shot earlier in the day, and there was really, really heavy editing done in that. We talked about it last week. That's like the kind of stuff that we look for being reporters, you know what I mean? And I could really notice a lot of edits, like a lot of stuff that was pieced together that was shot earlier in the day last night. As soon as they went backstage, right, as soon as Triple H chased the Legacy backstage, all that stuff from that point forward was pre-shot earlier in the day, and you could clearly see that, you know. So I mean, that kind of did it for me. But the main event, I mean, we'll talk about it here in a little bit, or the main event segment, was really good stuff, you know. I mean, I thought it made it look real, you know what I mean? When Triple H came out there and he was like, almost like a high school fight, you know, when both guys show up, you know, and you know something's going to happen, and you're waiting for something to happen. Who's going to throw the first punch? Who's going to do what? You know what I mean? And bang, then finally it happens, and that's what the main event was of. But nonetheless, we had Todd Grisham backstage. He was looking for Randy Orton, and Cody Rhodes, Ted DiBiase came out of the locker room, and they basically said that Orton was not responsible for what happened the previous week. And Orton further acknowledged that later in a promo in the main event segment there, which we'll get to in a little bit. One more match here, and then we'll take another live phone call. Lita and Crime Time mixed tag team match defeated the team of Beth Phoenix. Hi, I'm Dolph Ziggler. And
hi, welcome to the show.
Oh, hi.
You almost got me there.
And Santino Marella, that was the other team, Dolph Ziggler, Santino, and Beth Phoenix. What we had a mess at the end of this match. All I remember is Shad Gaspard hit a, what's his finishing move over there? I can't remember it. He hit his finishing move and got the pin. That's all I can really remember from that, because a lot of stuff went down at the end. Like, everybody just started fighting, right? Do you remember that?
Yes, I did. It was Dolph taking his finish. Yeah, I don't remember what it was either, and laid out. I think it was Shaq.
STO, that's the name of it. STO.
STO. Thank you.
Live, baby, live in the chat room, no doubt. STO, that's the word I was. But what'd you think overall the match, top to bottom, man?
It was okay. Anytime I see Melina is always a good thing, so I was satisfied with that. Didn't see her much in the ring, though.
Yeah, she is, that entrance that she did, man. Huh? You know Batista's had that, right?
Yeah, I heard. So is Morrison.
Making sure you know. John Morrison, too, yeah. That's another one, no doubt. What else? Hey, let's do one more match, then we'll take a live phone call before we get to the Ricky Steamboat, Chris Jericho segment from Monday Night Raw. But we had Shawn Michaels and JBL. How many times have we seen this in recent? What's this? Is this the third time? I think it's the third. If it's not the third, it's the second. If it's not third, it's second. But whatever. We saw Shawn Michaels, JBL. You know, it was the same thing that we saw at, what was it, No Way Out. JBL went for the clothesline from hell. Michael somehow reversed that, ducked under it, and hit the Sweet Chin Music for the 1, 2, 3. So now we have Shawn Michaels versus Vladimir Kozlov next week on Monday Night Raw, with the winner going on to face The Undertaker. It was originally Shawn Michaels versus JBL, right? It was originally those two, and then the winner was supposed to go on to WrestleMania. But you know how they did it. You've got 6 weeks to WrestleMania. You bring Kozlov over there, get the SmackDown guy from Raw.
The undefeated.
Yeah, the undefeated Kozlov, Shawn. That's true. You're right, huh?
And it's undefeated.
All right. Well, anyways, nonetheless, I still heard Shawn Michaels versus Taker at WrestleMania. So next week that sets it up. Maybe next week, say it ends on a DQ or something like that, so that they can continue this going into WrestleMania, or maybe not. Maybe Shawn Michaels gets the clean win and ends the guy's undefeated streak. I mean, we'll have to wait and see. But nonetheless, Shawn Michaels versus Taker at WrestleMania looks pretty much a lock at this
How about a
point.
triple threat? Because you're right. Because you think about it, this Monday, then we'll have WrestleMania in 4 weeks. So I don't expect them to build the confrontation between Shawn and Taker at least 3 or 2 weeks before the actual event. Because I mean, that's all you need, especially for those two.
But you bring Kozlov in there, and then you talk about a 3-way match. I mean, you would do that before WrestleMania, right? Obviously.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
Okay. Yeah. And that's what happens to Kozlov at WrestleMania. Basically, he gets dicked, or he gets put in another match, maybe a Battle Royal or something like that, where, you know how they always do a WrestleMania Battle Royal where they try to get as many guys out in front of that crowd and as many guys on the payoff, get them a WrestleMania payoff, even if it's the WWE.com match that they do, before WrestleMania airs. It's something to get those guys. So Kozlov, I mean, he'll be out there at WrestleMania, probably a Battle Royal match, because I think they like to do that. I haven't heard anything about that this year, but that's what they did last year. And, it gets those guys out in front of 70,000 people, or however many people are going to be there this year. I think 60,000 tickets, just over 60,000 tickets have been
you know what's interesting? I don't mean to cut you off. You know what's interesting is now JBL's program is over. What they're going to do with JBL. Me personally, I like to see JBL continue that role and maybe hire or buy someone like a JB Noble, because them two, I can just see the storyline developing in 3 weeks. It may not end up to nothing because I don't see a fight between JB Noble and JBL, but I like to still see that angle with JBL buying someone, and because he just plays that role to the T.
You there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, my bad. No, it was cutting out for a second there. But no, I agree, dude. I agree. You've got to keep that angle going, because that was great when they did it with Shawn Michaels. But Shawn Michaels is a guy that's already established. He doesn't need rub from a guy like JBL. Whereas if you took a guy like Jamie Noble, like you say, or just a younger guy that says, "Hey, man, I'm in financial trouble too. I need you to help me out," and then you continue that, because I think that angle. That angle could be played out. I mean, that's not a one-time shot, bang, you move on. You could use that angle to put over a younger talent. I agree.
To be honest with you, it's almost the 21st century of the $1 Million Man and Virgil.
Yeah, no doubt. It is too, huh?
Why not recycle an angle? Go with
that.
Yeah,
right. Why not? How many times have they recycled angles before, right? Hey, let's take another live phone call, and then we will get back into Monday Night Raw. A couple more things to talk about here, and then lead you into the break, and then we'll come back with news and rumors in our numero dos. A non-member, a guest from the chat room. What's on your mind? You're live on WZR Radio.
Hello. I'm enjoying your show. I have a question. I was at Raw last night, and I was wanting to know, since all the destruction that Triple H caused last night, who takes care of all the damages? Does it come out of his paycheck or Vince's paycheck? And also, do you think he's superstitious after breaking the mirror and 7 years bad luck? And I'll hang up and listen.
All right, thanks, man. Thanks for the question. What was he said what now? Jose?
He asked about the damages that happens to the arena before. I mean, obviously the WWE notifies the arena what they're going to break, but that's one of the questions he asked.
That's a very good question. That's a very, very good question because they do a lot of damage at these shows, and mark my words, guys, that everything that they do, I'll let Jose answer this one. But my 2 cents is everything that WWE breaks, they notify the arena and they pay for everything that it's broke. I mean, Jose can probably tell you a little bit more about that because you're more into the, you follow the business aspect of WWE, the money figures. You know what I mean? That kind
and that's exactly what they do. I mean, if you notice it specifically at the car, it's an old school Cadillac, or I think it was a Cadillac. It's an old school car. Lincoln. It's an old school car. So, if there's going to be some damage, like The Rock with, or Stone Cold Angle with The Rock back then with taking the Bigfoot and riding it over his car. Perfect example, the ambulance and Hulk Hogan and The Rock and ramming all those are a lot of old school cars. But yeah, it's all, they tell the arena more than advance. It doesn't come out of Triple H's pocket. It doesn't come out of the talent pocket. WWE actually decides to pay it.
It comes out from WWE's pocket, and trust me when I tell you guys that when they go and they break stuff, okay, say that car was rented, all right, they break it, they give the company or the arena more money than what that stuff that they broke is worth. So WWE is going to pay the cost of fixing it, and they're going to throw a little bit more on top of it to make everybody happy, make sure there's no problems. And trust me when I tell you guys, that's why you see a lot of that stuff happen, because when the money is offered, when the money deals come through and WWE says, all right, we're going to break this, and then we're going to offer you this much to fix it, you know, you're going to probably make out in the long run, because WWE is obviously not going to want any problems. And that comes straight from WWE. I mean, that, like you said, that's not out of Triple H's check, or I mean, that's straight out of a company check. The company takes care of that, and they replace everything. I mean, I'm sure they pay for the construction to have everything fixed, you know what I mean, or the mechanical work. Yeah, I mean, if they don't, like last night, all they did was, what they do, bash out a window of a car. I mean, that car will be back in shape in no time. It was just a window. I mean, some of the stuff that they did backstage, yeah, they're going to have to pay for some of the damages. But like I said, the money offer, that, you know, what they're going to offer will make the arena or the car dealership or whoever, it'll make them happy. You know what I mean?
Exactly correcto.
Correcto. Let's move on to Monday Night Raw, because we're going to take a break here in about 10 minutes. And then we'll come back and we'll take live phone calls in hour number 2. I see Colm Gillespie in the chat room. I see Living Dead guy in there. Who else?
Matt
Ultimate Fanatic, Marcus Knight, a couple new guys that Codebreaker, I already mentioned him, but that's cool.
Why not twice?
No doubt. We have That's Me, 789, Raw is Jericho 9. No doubt. Lots of people, man, lots of people. So, Colm Gillespie, see? He just logged back in. He probably missed it, man. He probably missed it again because he's still got to wait for this stupid thing to load. Nonetheless, I plugged him. You guys can let him know that I shouted him out twice in the last minute. But whatever. If you guys want to get in the live chat room, it's WZROnline.com /chat. Loads and loads and loads of people in there tonight. So get on over there. Everybody's having a good time in the live chat room tonight. Next up on Monday Night Raw, Ricky Steamboat Jose. That's always good. I like Steamboat. The Dragon. Hey, that sounded all right too, man. You're not bad. You're not bad, man. You're the impressions are impressing me.
Thank you. You wait until I start talking like Howard Finkel. You actually think I am talking like him.
I've heard it before, man. Do it. Give us a Howard Finkel right now.
All right, Ryan, I'll tell you right now, this match is scheduled for one fall.
That's awesome, dude. That is odd. Maybe I haven't. I heard you do somebody else. I've never heard that. That was good, man. That was really good, huh?
Yeah, for whatever reason, it's funny because the guy does, you know, again, he coaches the team, and I go there and I'm like, hey, Howard, how are you? You know, and he looks at me, you know, he's like, wait a minute. Hey, that was pretty good, Jose. That's a little too good.
Yeah, no, that was good, man. That is awesome, dude. I've never heard you do that. I heard you do somebody else, but I can't remember who it was. But nonetheless, so Ricky Steamboat, right? He came out on Raw, and he went back and forth with Chris Jericho. It was kind of cool because he had Piper the week before come out and kind of shoot with Jericho, and then Steamboat came out last night. And Steamboat, granted, he's not as good as Piper on the mic, but nonetheless, I thought he held his own last night, you know? Came out and you knew how it was going to end. You knew that Jericho was going to punch him in the face or knock him down to the ground or throw him against the Titantron, whatever he did. You knew that was going to happen. That's why I just think that, like, all these legends are going to wind up coming back. Piper, Steamboat, Snuka, you know, all the guys that can still work. Maybe Honky Tonk Man. Excuse me. Bring in the legends, you know, and then just do a big match where all the legends go after Jericho at WrestleMania, kind of like a comedy match. But then you don't want to put Jericho, somebody like Jericho, who's like a full-fledged heel. You want to have him, at least if it was up to me, you'd want to have him in a one-on-one match with somebody, you know, and then like you brought up earlier, though, like lumberjacks, you know, around the ringside. Bring out the legends as lumberjacks. That would be awesome, you know, so every time Jericho gets thrown out of the ring, all these legends that Jericho, you know, beat up, they would throw him back in the ring. They would take aggression out on him. It would be cool to see. You know what I'm saying?
It'd be nice, and at the finish, the legend wins, and every single legend does their finishing move on Jericho. But see, But you're right, though. It's funny that you said that because I would rather not see that on Jericho. Maybe with Santino, then I can see that happens. But you know, Jericho is not more of a, you know, I don't know, it just doesn't really I'm not really convinced, I guess, in that type of role for him. But I guess we'll see what happens.
Where do we go from Jericho? Well, actually, we'll talk about that. Whoa, buddy. Whoa. Did you just move? I heard the noise again, but whatever. I guess we'll talk about Jericho later in the news. I mean, where do they go with him? You know, if they don't do, if Rourke isn't going to come through, I haven't heard. I thought I would have heard something from Rourke by now. You know what I mean? Something in the media where we would have had something, but maybe not. Maybe they're just holding off, and maybe Rourke is going to come. I know Rourke's going to be at WrestleMania, but I don't know if he's going to actually do that match. I guess it's still in the hands of and Mickey Rourke right now, you know, and they didn't. I mean, they're just kind of going with this Legends thing until Rourke makes up his mind, and we continued that last night. Like I said, what we have. Steamboat said he remembered Jericho as a kid at an autograph signing, came up to him, was asking for an autograph, and said that he went back and forth between the people. He was a heel, he was a face, a heel, a face, a heel, a face over the past 10 years. And he said, that's a hypocrite, because Jericho had called him a hypocrite. And he said, no, man, that's a hypocrite. When you love the people, then you hate the people. It was actually good stuff. It made sense, you know what I mean? Wound up, like I said, at the end, Jericho laid him out, threw him up against Titantron, and basically beat down another legend. You know, that's the current theme as of late, and we'll have to see what they do next Monday night, see if they bring in another legend, maybe a Jimmy Snuka. You know, Jimmy Snuka's not that good on a mic, though, to go back and forth.
That's right, brother.
What?
That's right, brother. He's not good on the mic.
Yeah, he'd be kind of brutal. Who else? Jake the Snake Roberts. He's brutal on the mic too these days, though, man.
Yeah, I don't think we see Jake the Snake on TV.
Yeah. Poor Bobby Heenan. He can't talk. We're gonna have an update on him. He's getting better, but we're gonna have an update on him in hour number 2 here. But they couldn't bring somebody like him in. But there's guys that they could bring in and have Jericho just knock him out, leading in the WrestleMania. We got 5 weeks, you know, next week, 5 weeks from next Sunday. So, you know, we'll have to wait.
I honestly think this, at the end of the day, there's one man that's going to come out, and that's the 2009 inductee, which is leading the pack is Stone Cold Steve Austin. Not saying that there's going to be a match. That's not what's going to end up going, but there's no doubt about it. You can just clearly see that this angle will involve Austin at some point.
Well, remember we talked about last week, I mean, it was in Dave Meltzer's Observer newsletter that Austin was actually booked for Raw last night. And we didn't see Austin last night, but I told you guys last night that, or last week, that, you know, we believed that they were going to hold Austin off. He was going to be the main guy, you know what I mean? They'd bring in all these other legends, not to say that they're bad or anything, they're just not, you know, as big of a name as Steve Austin. They'll cap this thing off with Steve Austin, whether he's on the last Raw going into WrestleMania or, you know, whatever it happens, he'll be the final guy that comes out and says, hey, man, why don't you talk shit to me? You know what I mean? Why don't you've been talking trash to all these legends as of late, now why don't you talk to me? You know, and then you've got Austin out there. And it would make sense. I believe we have a Monday Night Raw rating out. Guys in the chat are telling me that it did a 4.1. I am logging into my Nielsen Media account right now to double check that, but I believe it was a 4.1 according to some of the guys in the chat room. So a back-to-back 4.1, if that's the case. Just give me a second.
Yep, 3.93 the first hour, 4.27 the second hour.
Is that what? So here it is.
4.1 all total.
3.93 and 4.27 for a 4.1. Yeah, that's great. I mean, they'll be happy with that. They'll be really, really happy with that. A back-to-back 4.1 rating, and you know, I mean, it was down in the 3.4 range for a long time there, 3.4, 3.6, somewhere in there. So to have it up, oh man, 0.5. You know, I mean, that's a half a full point, which is crazy. You usually don't see huge. You never. Well,
it's definitely it's rare that you see these numbers jump. I mean, even this past Friday, SmackDown had a 2.2. So it's the ratings obviously are doing wonderful, and not only that, last week week, you know, you can use the excuse, oh, they're coming off a pay-per-view, Edge became champion, people want to tune in. What this clearly shows you that these people that tuned in last week came back again because they're interested on more importantly, what's going to go on with Cena and the title, and, of course, the Orton-McMahon confrontation, of course, now with Triple H.
Hey, if you guys are listening on the live show, it's almost 8 o'clock. That means we got to take a break. I just want to run down these matches real quick. Mike Knox defeated Jamie Noble. There was a nasty spot here where Jamie Noble told earlier today he suffered a stinger. He's going to be all right. Everything, I mean, I'd expect for them to probably keep him out a week or two, but nonetheless, he is not going to miss any time. That was scary last night to watch that happen live. When they showed the replay of when it happened, it looked really nasty. And then the entire time during the John Cena Chavo Guerrero match, and then even into the main event, they were actually, fan reports said that they were taking him out on a stretcher, and it looked bad. But he was moving, and everything is going to be all right with him. So that's good news. He gets defeated by Mike Knox in 10 seconds. John Cena, Chavo Guerrero, another squash. Vicky came out and brought out Chavo, so it was Chavo Cena as the Raw main event. Hit the, the STFU, tapped him out, right?
That's correct.
That's correct. All right, so we tapped out to that, and then in our main ending segment, right, we had Randy Orton come out, and we're going to talk about this more in hour number 2, but let me run it down right now real quick, and then when we come back from the break, we'll talk about this a little more. We'll run down news and take live phone calls for our numero dos. So we have Randy Orton come out with the legacy, sledgehammer in hand. He says that he wasn't responsible for anything that's happened in the last week. He was provoked. Shane, demanded the match last week, so he came out and they had the match. He actually had some valid points. Shane actually did demand the match. So Orton went out there, right? Stephanie came out. Why would she, she came out, but she was just at the wrong place at the wrong time. Got an RKO for her efforts. So basically he says, oh, and then another thing, the last time that Stephanie and Orton were face-to-face, she slapped him in the face. So Orton brought that up as well. So he says basically all this stuff provoked him, da-da-da-da-da-da. Triple H is then shown walking backstage. They had hyped him up throughout the night. He's shown walking backstage with the sledgehammer. So he comes out, and it's, once again, no music, but this time I didn't mind it. You know what I mean? This time it was all right because the angle, it was like an angle that, it was kind of real, man. Like I said earlier, it was like a high school fight, you know what I mean? Who's going to throw the first punch? Anyways, they came out, they dropped the sledgehammers. Both of them dropped the sledgehammers. Triple H had a sledgehammer hidden in his back pocket, pulled it out, chased the legacy through the back, tore it up like the caller mentioned a couple minutes ago, tore up the backstage area. They wound up escaping out into a car and got away. Triple H used the sledgehammer on the car as they were able to get away to end Raw. But, I mean, overall, it was a great Raw ending segment. That's the way I feel about it. How'd you feel, man?
I agree. It brings the reality, the real life into focus. And it's funny because I'll make this real quick. Yesterday, I believe, to my knowledge, is the first time that they acknowledged Stephanie married to Triple H, even though everyone kind of knew. I believe that's the first time the announcers, at least, announced it during the telecast. Yeah,
no doubt, no doubt. And the whole thing seemed real, like you said, and I like when they do real angles. I mean, some of the Jericho Steamboat stuff, that stuff was kind of real too, you know what I mean? And I like when they bring that aspect into it, you know what I mean? It just makes it better to watch. For an older fan like me, I mean, I'm 27, man, so for somebody that's older like me, I like that. I don't want the corny Cena and the Mike Knoxes, the Canes, that stuff doesn't do it. I know why you have to have them there, because you have kids. You have a ton of kids that watch your product, you know what I mean? So you've got to cater to both your adult fans and your younger fans, because your younger fans are going to be the people that grow up and support the product in 20 years from now. You know what I mean? So you've got to cater to both. But, I mean, for an older fan like me, that real angle to end Monday Night Raw last night was good stuff. So with that said, we'll talk about that a little more when we come back from the break. You guys go get yourself something to drink, something to eat, and we'll come back here in about 5 minutes, and then we'll just talk news, rumors, live chat rooms, on and popping tonight, WZROnline.com /chat. Jose, you're going to go switch up your phone here.
Absolutely. I'm stuck here in one little corner, and I can't move.
All right, no doubt. All right, so give us a call, 724-444-7444. Call ID number is 30273, followed by the pound key. You can get to the live chat at WZROnline.com /chat. Jose, I got a question for you, buddy.
Yes?
Do you like when girls kiss girls?
Do I like it? Love it.
And we're back. WZR Radio here on WZROnline.com. I'm Ryan Clark, and we're going to be here with you for the next 1 hour. I got Jose Rivera with me.
Yo. Sorry about that.
Oh, it's all good, man. I actually, I just came back right now, man. I went downstairs, and my sister ordered a pizza from Paisan's Pizza. So I'm just finishing off.
Paisano.
Hey, the Paisano. Hey.
Pizza pie.
Let me tell you something. This is the best piece of pizza that I've ever had in my life, man. Paisan.
Do they deliver in Stanford?
I don't know. I haven't. It's a couple 100 miles away, but you can give it a shot, man. I could give you the number when we go off the air. But damn, bro,
that's a good pizza.
Some good pizza, baby. Now.
No, so you get anything on it? It was just like plain cheese.
No, they just got the plain cheese. She's got a baby down there, a little 3-year-old Haley, my little niece. So no, it's all plain. It's just cheese. But I'll tell you what, I devoured a piece of that during the break, and I'm actually still eating it. But I'm gonna stop now because no one wants to hear me chew on live radio. But nonetheless, man, we got a lot to talk about still. Lots of news, rumors. We got a live chat room. You know how many people we got in the chat room tonight, man? Usually I don't say this on the air, but screw it. I'm gonna anyway tonight. 75 people, or somewhere around there, in the live chat room. I forget what.
Hello, 75 people.
Hello to the chat. TNA Wrestling 12, Legend Killer, the One Man Dynasty. Live, baby, live. What else?
Super KO. Bing.
Lots of people in there. So get on in there, guys. WZROnline.com /chat. And live phone number to call is 724-444-7444. Right? 7444. I had an extra 4. Enter call ID number 30273, followed by the pound key. Here we go. News and rumors, Jose. We had some news and rumors. We had some releases this past week. Some WWE releases, some TNA releases. Releases all around, man. We'll start it off here. We had SmackDown star Sky Goldman, who is otherwise known to you indie fans out there as the one and only Colt Cabana. Used to love him in Ring of Honor when he was under that gimmick. So Scotty Goldman, released from the company. You know, the reason that he was released is due to the look. You know, he didn't have the look that WWE wanted.
McMahon likes to use that it factor.
The it factor, yeah, that's what it is. I mean, the it. You got to have it. You got to be able to work in the ring. You got to have a look. You got to be good on the mic. You got to have it, Jose. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean.
All right. So, anyways, he didn't have it and was released on February 20th, 2009. What was that? That was when was it? Friday? Last Friday, I believe? Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, sounds right.
So he was released. They had given him his own web show on WZROnline.com, which is pretty popular, from what I was told. They have the Miz and Morrison show, they have Santino's show, and they have the Scotty Goldman show up there as well. And he had just made his debut on SmackDown a couple of weeks, hadn't really been used, and then last Friday on SmackDown worked a match, I believe, against the MAGA, and that was it. So they put him on TV and then decided to release him. It was almost like they were about to start pushing the guy, and it's crazy because if you watched the Goldman show, Scotty Goldman's show on WZROnline.com, I mean, that was entertaining. That was good stuff. He had a personality, and that's something that I don't know, say somebody like Matt Hardy or somebody doesn't have, And I was kind of surprised, to be honest with you, just because I was a fan of the show on WZROnline.com, and he had charisma. I don't know what it was that they didn't want. It was like they didn't want to give the guy a chance,
And that happens a lot of times, unfortunately, with those indie guys. You hear that they get signed up by the big companies, their life dream to work for WWE. And when they come there, it's just their vision is completely opposite. Sometimes it's like one of those parades you want to join. You want to be walking down the street and people screaming at you, but then you realize, you say to yourself, maybe this is not really what I want to do, or at least work for an environment like the WWE. I unfortunately never had the opportunity to actually view his performance in the ring, but I was told, or at least hearing from you, and I've heard nothing but positive things from this guy. And it is amazing. But, again, it's just one of those unfortunate indie guys signing a major contract with WWE. They gave him his own Internet show just to, push him out there. And he just, McMahon, you're fired type of angle, and just let him go.
Paisan's Pizza, Jose.
Hey, keep on eating. I'll keep on talking.
Whoa, hey, easy, okay?
Easy now, easy. Get with the pizza there, right? Get with the pizza.
The pizza. New York-style pizza, man. There's nothing better than it.
You're really getting me hungry. I have not eaten at all, and I have, like, a yogurt in front of me. How sad is that? And you have a pizza.
I hadn't ate all day either, man. And then I went downstairs during the break. I was filling up my water. Came back up here, or I went down there, and I seen she had a pizza. Oh, son of a bitch, man. Oh, man.
Beat off a slice.
The break just got about 2 minutes longer until I can shove this thing down my throat, you know what I mean? All right, so who else? Scotty Goldman was released, and then we had...
from WWE, yep.
From WWE, and then we had Manu.
Bless
Manu.
you.
He, horse, whatever. Manure. Yes, horse manure, no doubt.
The way his wrestling style was, unfortunately, it kind of reminded me of that, but that's beside the point.
I know, dude. He was, he was on the bubble for a while, and another guy that I can tell you guys is Sim Snuka. I don't know what the deal is with him, but I would bet money that the future is bleak for him, at least as of this point, and unless they don't come up with with something for him fairly quickly.
He might be ending up at the other side of the track.
He may be, at the other side, no doubt. I like it, Jose.
Ooh, what did I call it? I don't know.
On the money tonight, baby, huh?
Boy, I'm on fire.
So we had, basically it was just another case of management, not happy with his in-ring work and his look as well, and we actually had a story a couple months back where, he was removed from the legacy, and part of the reason for that was because Randy Orton felt that somebody like D.H. Smith would fit better, and Randy himself, wasn't a big fan of Manu, so he was gone. Sim Snuka, he's on the bubble as well. We'll see where they go with him. One more WWE release that we had was a Hollywood creative team writer by the name of
Freddie Prinze Jr.
There you go, buddy. Freddie Prinze Jr. He's married to what's her name? Is it Sarah Michelle Gellar? Is that her name?
Sarah, maybe Michelle, Linda. Something like that. I can't call. I think stuff. It's like right there, but it ain't. I'm sure someone in the chat room will correct us though. So
I think it's Sarah Michelle Geller is her name.
There you go. Bing, 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 bing. What does he win? Absolutely nothing.
Ding, 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 ding. All right, so basically he was hired under the impression that, maybe they would be able to use her at some point. You know what I mean? Maybe they could have her come in for an angle. This is the guy that attended a couple WWE events, over the past few years. Was always there, was always visiting backstage, and they believed he was knowledgeable of the wrestling. I mean, he was a guy that followed the business, you know what I mean? So they brought him in, they gave him a shot, and we put it up as breaking news, but I mean, people are saying that this guy hasn't been seen at television tapings in like 2 months. So this may be old news, guys, and it's just getting out there now. But he hasn't been around in a couple months, according to I believe it was Dave Meltzer that had that story. Nobody's seen him. So, what that means when he was released, I don't have any more details on that. It didn't really come as a surprise. I believe that he was, hired basically. So if they ever wanted to,
just for the name, that's all what they did. They paid him some Snoopy snacks, and he was fine with it after that.
Dude, and they sent out a press release. I remember to this day posting the press release that WWE sent out that said that they had hired Freddie Prinze Jr. as part of their creative team, or however I'd have to look it up, but I remember posting that press release. However they worded it, to say creative team or, whatever it was, but they actually sent out a press release, just out to the Hollywood news wires, and it got picked up, and that was their ultimate goal, whenever something gets picked up by the Associated Press or a mainstream media network, they've accomplished what they wanted to do, and that's basically Freddie Prinze. And not to say that he may not have had good ideas, but in the long run, it just didn't work out.
Something tells me it was just more of a Hollywood angle where Freddie is a big fan of WWE ever since he was a child, and they sat down and created some funny idea saying, yeah, we'll bring you into creative, you do a little backstage, stuff, and then he stopped showing up because I really don't think he was officially sitting there every single week at a pay-per-view, in production meetings, just like a normal creative individual's role within the company. So I definitely feel that it's more of a publicity stunt than anything.
Hey, we had a TNA release, actually a couple TNA releases, guys. We had Sanjay Dutt, who is new. We had Petey Williams. You guys know about that one. We put it up on the website. That came as a surprise to many people because Petey was known as a guy that never bothered anybody backstage, always did what he was asked, dyed his hair for the Scott Steiner gimmick, did everything that was asked of him, and they wound up letting him go. I had originally thought that the choice was his, that he made the choice to leave TNA, but it looks like, and it's opposite for Sanjay Dutt. Sanjay Dutt and TNA tried to work out a deal, and Sanjay, they offered him far less than what he wanted, and Sanjay walked away from it, whereas Petey Williams, I believe he wanted to continue there in TNA, didn't want to have to leave, and he was released anyways. So it was kind of, and it's crazy because Petey Williams' best finishing maneuver in pro wrestling, the Canadian Destroyer, you guys know that. I mean, there's nothing better than it. It's amazing. Every time I see it, it's crazy. I think he breaks the guy's neck that he's doing it to. Just looks awesome. So to see him go sucked, and then I've gone on record on here on WZR Radio saying my favorite, X Division guy in TNA was Sanjay Dutt. And, he's going now too. So that kind of hurts, for somebody like me that likes fast-paced action, that really enjoyed both the styles of Sanjay Dutt and Petey Williams, on Impact on Thursday nights. Seen him live a couple times. Awesome work, especially Dutt. Dutt is so fast. And Jason Powell, actually, excuse me, actually had a story choking on that Paisan, baby.
It's the pizza. You need to drink some water with your pizza.
Water, no doubt. But Jason Powell actually had a story up that Dutt has already, sent feelers out to WWE. Now, you look at a guy like Christian, guys, that went to WWE, right? A guy from TNA. Actually, first of all, let's start out with Chris Harris, who went to TNA, turned him into Braden Walker. Look what happened to him, right? Look at Christian
Let's
Cage.
even go further back. Let's freaking Monty. Let's talk about him.
I know, you could talk about lots of guys, man. But it's like Braden Walker failed, right? You bring in Christian. I still haven't given up on Christian, man. I mean, I believe that we still have a chance with Christian with the upcoming draft. If they send him over to SmackDown, it's not over until it's over. But right now, I mean, with what happened on, or what's going to happen on ECW tonight with the Swagger Christian match for the title, I mean, I don't know what they're doing unless they're just trying to put over Swagger with him right now. I don't get it. I don't get what they are doing with him. So, nonetheless, we'll have to wait and see if Sanjay Dutt heads over to WWE. The basic story is Braden Walker, no good. Christian, been terrible so far. Sanjay Dutt, especially with his size, especially with the size of the guy's like 110 pounds, 105 pounds. Huh?
Soaking wet. I like to see Petey, and I'm going to go on record. I did it. I did it for 2 hours, blood, sweat, and tears. I sat down and watched TNA.
Stop, blood, sweat, and tears. Get out of here.
It took me a lot. Let me tell you, son. I had to open a cold one because it just, my mind has not changed with TNA.
Oh, come on. Really?
But we can talk about that next week.
Yeah, we'll sit now because we got a lot of news to get through. But listen, all right, sit through this week as well. This week's okay because I did the spoilers last night. Yeah. Sit through this week, and then we'll talk about it next week. All right,
I may have to fast forward a couple of segments though because it's just kind of brutal.
All right, we'll do Raw real quick next week, and then we're going to get into a big debate next week about TNA and WWE. That's what we're going to do. We're going to set that up.
Big debate next week live.
We're going to take live phone calls during it too. So we're going to do something next week. With that. What else, Jose? What else? Big news. I'm looking for the big news.
WrestleMania
26.
Go west. Go west.
Go west, man. No, go east, dude. I'd like, man, New York City or Boston or, I don't know, somewhere up in here, you know what I mean? I want to go to a WrestleMania. I've never been to a WrestleMania, man.
Why? There's nothing wrong with that. You like go on a plane, and I've never been to Arizona before. I mean, that's going to be something fun for me.
What's in Arizona? The sand?
No, just heat.
heat and dirt, heat and
it's
sand.
Phoenix, though. It's a. I don't know if it's a party town, but who cares? We'll make it a party town. It's WrestleMania, Phoenix. It's funny because you think about it. Who was the one that put on the WrestleMania T-shirt? That's from Phoenix, and everyone thought WrestleMania was actually going to be in Phoenix this year, but now we know, obviously, it's now in 2010. Or
it's not Phoenix, though. It's Glendale. And the crazy thing about it is they announced that they announced it today. There was a press conference. They had several WWE superstars. Vince McMahon was there. Members of the Arizona Cardinals, Global Spectrum, which is one of the main promoters around. Global Spectrum. They own the Glens Falls Civic. They own arenas, and they're part owners of the University of Phoenix Stadium, which is going to be where the event's held. The Arizona Cardinals, Super Bowl competitors. They lost, but nonetheless, they play in that building. It's the name of the stadium, like I just said, is the University of Phoenix Stadium. It's actually not in Phoenix. It's actually, I believe it's a couple 100 miles away in Glendale, Arizona, but they name it Phoenix Stadium anyways for some reason. Numerous college games are played there, and NFL games as well. It holds 70,000 people for for an NFL game. For WrestleMania, it could probably hold it. As a matter of fact, I can guarantee it holds a lot more than that because you have the whole field down below with a small ring that's placed in, like the 50-yard line. But you have 50 yards one way or 40 yards one way, 40 yards the other way, and then the ring area in there. So that's a lot of room for a couple thousand more people. So about 70,000 people will be there next year as well as this year, too, down in Houston. That's going to be awesome, man. When you're there with 70,000 people or 65,000, I'm sure it'll be close to 70,000 by the time this thing is said and done. But nonetheless, man, I mean, awesome just to be there with that many people, That, wow.
One of the best events, and I've been to, I literally am not lying to you, probably over 250 events for WWE, and the best one was definitely last year at WrestleMania in Orlando. It's just I never attended an open arena or stadium in this case. It was just remarkable. I mean, if you didn't get a chance to go to it, or if you're planning on going to a WrestleMania, obviously next year is going to be in Phoenix. That's a stadium as well. I look forward to Houston's, but definitely, and I've been to the one with Stone Cold.
Hey, does that have a roof over it or not?
Which one?
The WrestleMania. Actually, I'm looking at it right now. Yes, it does. The WrestleMania 26, the University of Phoenix Stadium. It actually looks like this is a retractable roof.
Yeah, I was going to say it's retractable.
Yeah, it is. I just did a Google image search. Wow, man. If you guys go to Google right now and do a Google image search for the University of Phoenix Stadium, do the image search. Wow, that is a beautiful, beautiful arena. Red seats all around it like a huge dome, and it looks like part of this thing opens up at the top. Wow, you know what? They can pull the football field in this stadium, right? You could take the entire football field, take it, and roll it out into the parking lot. There's a photo up here.
Nice. You can get a game outside too, then.
That's crazy. That is unbelievable. Well, you could if you wanted to. There's no seats or anything outside. But that is crazy, dude. I mean, some of these pictures up on Google that I'm looking at right now is.
What's amazing is that these cities, and ever since Detroit, I was there too, and that was fun. But ever since Detroit, a lot of these cities have been fighting to bring WrestleMania in. According to economic reports, the WrestleMania event itself brings close to $30 to $50 million boost in the economy where those cities are hosting it. So,
no doubt. I mean, it's a huge economic draw for the host city, no doubt about it. And Phoenix had actually, I keep saying Phoenix, but I mean I believe
it's in Glendale. Get it right.
Yeah, Glendale. What's the capital? What's the capital? Glendale or Phoenix? I would think it's Phoenix, but it could be Glendale. I'm not sure.
It was Glendale.
I'm not sure. Maybe somebody in the
chat.
Anybody from Arizona in the chat room? What's the capital?
I think it's Glendale. I'm almost positive it's Glendale. I did pretty good in geography.
All right, no doubt. But what else? We'll get to some more news.
And again, it could be Phoenix.
Yeah, it could be. I have no idea. I don't even, dude. I could probably tell you if you wanted me to name the state capitals of states. Oh man, maybe 20. I could get 25. I'd say I could get 20. I won't do it now, obviously, but I bet I gotta get 25, and that's horrible. That's horrible. Oh well.
Yeah, that is pretty bad. But we won't go any further.
All right, we won't even go there. More news, some more TNA news. Robert Roode, we talked about him. He signed a new 5-year contract. I didn't know it was 5 years last week when we talked about it, but he came out in an interview. I got a quote from him here. My contract is put away, and I've re-signed for 5 years with TNA. Very happy about it. They wanted to sign me to a long-term deal. Most contracts are 1 to 3 years, but they wanted to keep me around for 5. I'm quite pleased. That's a quote from Robert Roode. So that's good. I mean, Robert Roode was a guy that's got potential. I mean, he's got the look that everybody wants, and WWE had already been showing interest in him knowing that his TNA contract was about to expire. So TNA did the right thing and snatched him up fairly quickly to a new 5-year deal. And that should tell you guys something about, how TNA looks at the future, signing guys to 5-year deals, which
that's a long time.
They have long-term plans. I mean, TNA, our next news story here that we're going to talk about is the record Impact rating last week with a 1.3 rating, And TNA, signing guys to 3 years or 5-year contracts, they're not going anywhere anytime soon. If that's, they're not happy with buy rates. I think Against All Odds did something like 13,000 buys or something was the early number that I heard. But, pay-per-view buy rates are not all that well, but with higher Impact ratings comes the possibility to sell more pay-per-views. So they were ecstatic last week with that 1.3 Impact rating that we're going to talk about right now. I know you saw that, Jose. They had 1.9 million viewers.
Million viewers.
Yeah. That's 1.24, I believe, was the previous record, and this one was a 1.3. So they were very happy with that. And like I said, long-term plans for TNA, signing guys to long-term contracts. It seems like they got plans for the future. That's of course.
It's interesting though that it's a 5-year contract, and especially when you look at it as WWE had Roode in their minds, and that's probably one of the reasons why they're locking these guys up for a little bit longer, because WWE does that, of course. The Rey Mysterios of the world, they your contracts.
Mm-hmm. What else? The Hall of Fame. We've been talking about the Hall of Fame. Actually, when we were talking about Raw, we didn't even announce that they confirmed last night Ricky Steamboat is going to be in the Hall of Fame. He's going to be inducted by Ric Flair. They announced that last night. Woo! That was cool. They are going to air. I don't like how the USA Network does this. They only air. It's like last year it went real long with Flair and then The Rock. The Rock went on for like an hour and some change last year. But they only air an hour of the Hall of Fame induction ceremony, and then they put the rest of it on the WrestleMania DVD. And nonetheless, we are going to be able to see an hour of it, which will probably include some of the Steve Austin stuff. Well, of course, it'll include some of the Steve Austin stuff, as well as maybe the Steamboat. We won't see it all. We'll just see clips of it. You know what I mean? I don't think it's going to air live. They'll kind of do what they did last year, same thing. Air different parts, and then you'll have to get the WrestleMania DVD when it comes out to get the full airing. But we're going to have a 1-hour special that'll air on April 4th at 10 p.m., and then it'll air again the following night, April 5th at 1 a.m. So we will at least get to see some of the Hall of Fame. But I don't like, it would draw, this would draw a rating, and the USA Network's got to know that, They could, I'd say a 1.5, 1.6 for the Hall of Fame on WrestleMania weekend. I don't see why not. Why you wouldn't be able to draw that, even if you did like a 2-hour show or something along those lines. Why just an hour?
I'm not sure though. Last year, and I'm sure someone can Google it. What was the rating for last year's Hall of Fame? I don't think it's like a big rating gobbler. I think it also has to do with money. Who's going to pay to air it? Is WWE going to pay it? Is USA Network going to pay it? Who's going to advertise at 11 o'clock at night? Those are probably some of the things that kind of wonder in their heads on the business aspect of the reasons. Well, you're right, though. I wish they put the entire everything on telecast television to see it and to experience it, but they leave the best for TV, which I'm sure that is, Steve Austin's inductee.
TNA Wrestling 12 from the chat wants me to let you know that WZR is better than 6.
Well, that's interesting comment because that sounds a little personal if you ask me. Because
he's just saying. He's just saying our radio show is better than 6. You know what I mean?
Well, that's speaking volume. That's an impact.
An impact, baby, no doubt. I like it. You're on your game tonight, Jose.
I don't know what it is. I'm on point. Maybe because I'm going to Puerto Rico tomorrow.
Hey, give it up for Jose. All right, so back to news. going from a 1-hour special of the Hall of Fame, we're going to have a 3-hour WWE Draft special coming up, the 2009 Draft. That's going to air April 13th from 8 o'clock to the normal 11:05, 11:06, 11:07 when they go off the air Eastern Time, of course. The Draft special, that's always good. That's all you want to talk about, a ratings draw. The Draft last year popped a huge rating, so we'll see what they can do this year. Another 3-hour special. That'll be interesting. We always do a big draft, WWE Draft, WZR radio show, so I think we're going to do that again this year. That was our highest rated show ever last year.
Oh, yeah, I look forward for that. That's going to be fun.
Dude, we had more people on that stream last year ever. I mean, that was a record, top record ever for WZR radio traffic that we had for that draft special. So we're going to do it again this year in 2009. I'll let you guys know on a date, probably the week before it airs. So probably April, when's the draft? April 13th, probably be April 6th. April 6th will probably be our draft show. But nonetheless, I will keep you guys updated on that. How about some phone calls, man? You want to take a couple calls?
Yeah, let's do that. Absolutely.
All right, let's do it. Here we go. Caller, Callie.
Yeah, man, been here for half an hour. Let's see you guys talk for like half hour.
Man, I know. I'm ranting and raving, dude. Ranting and raving. My bad, dude. What's on your mind?
That's okay. I didn't hear the whole show, so you might have already talked about this. A couple questions. But, about the ratings, I think Raw and TNA got good ratings. So do you think that the Moral or however you pronounce it, are they happy now? I mean, you said they were ecstatic, but are the wrestlers kind of thinking, are they happy like the quote-unquote vets, like the Booker T, the Kevin Nashes? Are they kind of happy too, or they really don't care? They're saying, oh, whatever.
You know, I've heard Booker T. I mean, you're talking about backstage morale. Booker T is a guy that was really, really pumped up to come over to TNA, and somebody that works in TNA, a wrestler in TNA, sent me an email that basically said Booker doesn't give a shit. Booker doesn't care these days, and you can clearly see that by his promos. I mean, when you look at his promos, he cuts people off, or he's in the background and he's doing these, and it's like, dude, sometimes there's times where you almost want to say, dude, just shut up, I mean, you can tell that you can tell that he's improvising, but at times he improvises too much, and people in TNA notice that. So Booker is, one of the other guys. But I can tell you, like, another guy like Scott Steiner is, he is really, really happy with the way things are in TNA, So it really, but Nash is another guy that doesn't mind working there, shows up, every week, gets his paycheck, but is a guy that is generally, friendly to be around backstage. No real cliques in TNA, you know what I mean? Not a lot of political issues. There's always going to be political issues between some of the creative team guys when you get the Jarretts and the Russos and those. But as far as talent, I mean, the veteran guys, the Nashes, guys that you would think would cause problems in TNA, really are okay, are really okay, and just enjoy being there.
I think Booker might be talking mess because he kind of knows they ain't going to fire him. He's so big of a name. I think he kind of underneath, he knows, like, he ain't going to, fire me, I dare you. And they're not going to get rid of Booker, I think. Or what about
Booker's got that other promotion that he runs out of Texas. This is just something for Booker where he's trying to help. I mean, Booker, he's there every week, but there's some people in that company that are not totally sold on Booker these days.
Yeah.
I can tell you that.
What about Kurt? I heard rumors about Kurt Angle might be leaving, supposedly. Is he kind of is he happy?
Well, I know where you're going with that. They're going to do Kurt Angle versus Sting here at Destination X. Could this be the time where they give Kurt the title to try to keep him around, to try to say, all right, Kurt, we'll put the title on you, and we'll let you run with this thing? You know what I mean? That's a possibility, because when I was doing the Impact tapings last night, when I was getting those text messages, Kurt's contract's going to be up here in the latter part of 2009. So they are going to try to do everything in their power. Obviously, they don't want to lose Kurt, I mean, he's one of their main guys. He's the leader of the Mafia right now. So could this be a way of putting the title on Kurt, giving him a long run with it, up to when his contract expires, and then see what he does, try to put some faith behind him, and let him carry the company. We'll have to wait and see over the next few weeks. But you can bet they're going to do everything in their power to keep Kurt around.
Yeah, smart. And one more question. Frank Mir, I think he's, UFC question. I've never heard of UFC. He's
Frank Mir?
Yeah, Mir. Okay, I'm pronouncing Morley wrong or whatever.
No, it's all good. It's all good, man.
Yeah, but you know how he's about to fight, I think, Lesnar, I guess, coming up soon. Well,
yeah, it's going to be in May.
Okay. I don't know. Everybody's saying Lesnar's going to whip his butt, supposedly. But let's say Lesnar gets by him. I heard on a different website that the other wrestler I asked you and Boone about a while back, could he beat him? He said, he'll destroy him. He's like undefeated or kind of like he's like, it's so big or something. And he's like, what's his name? I forget his name. But you guys, both of you said that he's like untouchable. And if he's fought Lesnar, he'll easily whoop his butt with one hand time on his back.
Now, who you're talking about? A UFC fighter that could beat Brock?
Yeah. You guys say both of y'all say he can do it with ease.
Fedor.
Fedor. Yeah. So let's say that happens. Do you still think that? Because Lesnar's over here laughing when Murr won. He was over there laughing, kind of saying, "Yeah, right, you ain't gonna do it to me." But let's just say he fights Fedor down the road, 2010, 2011. Do you still think Fedor destroy him, or you think Lesnar has a shot like he kind of did to Couture? He went to a legend, and the other dude, he threw a punch and threw a couple backflips in the air before he fell down.
Here's the deal with Fedor. Fedor is not in UFC, as everybody knows. They want Fedor to come to UFC. Fedor's camp is going to meet with Dana White and their guys in May after the Lesnar fight, after the Lesnar-Mir fight. Dana and actually Fedor's camp confirmed that the other day. So they are going to sit down and talk as long as Lesnar gets by Mir, which I think he will. I think Mir was, got lucky with the ankle lock the first time they fought. As long as Lesnar gets by there, I think we'll see. We're eventually going to see Lesnar Fedor somewhere down the line. UFC will throw up the money for that fight, and eventually it will happen. It could even happen as early as the end of 2009 if Fedor's management team would just chill out and not demand what they demand. I mean, they want lots of money. They don't want Fedor to be under an exclusive UFC contract, which means they want to allow him to fight elsewhere while he fights in UFC. It's stuff like that UFC doesn't want. UFC says, no, if you're going to fight for us, you're going to come on and you're going to be under contract with us. So that's where that kind of, that stands. Jose, you still listening? I've been ranting and raving, man. Ranting and raving. We got.
You know what? It's all good because I just ate some cookies, so I'm actually good until dinner. So that worked out pretty well.
All right, no doubt. I'm going to let you answer this one. A loyal, diehard fan from the chat. Got us here every single week. Legend Killer, what's up, man?
What's going on, man? How's it going?
It's going.
Let it be, Legend.
Yeah, man. I wasn't able to hear last week, but if you're happy Legend Killer's back, people in the chat, let me hear a hoorah.
No doubt.
Had to do it.
All right, buddy. You got, is that it?
No, man. No. I don't know if you mentioned, you might have mentioned it last week, like I said, I wasn't here, but about, spoiler TNA. Hang on, I'll give everybody about 5 seconds, 10 seconds. Put down your headsets if you don't want to hear a TNA spoiler. Turn your volume off, something. All right, that's all time. All right, with Lance Rock, Lance Hoy, whatever you want to call him, and Jimmy Rave apparently being done with TNA, where do you see them going? Because Jimmy Rave, this is something I've always thought was kind of interesting. He, right before he went to TNA, I remember the first time I ever saw him in TNA, he main evented a ROH show with Bryan Danielson. And the week after, I see him coming out wearing this guitar outfit. I'm like, there's no way that's the same guy.
I know, it was crazy. He used to, I would expect Rave, definitely, man, to go back to Ring of Honor, because that's where he got to start. That's where, he was one of the main guys. You just said something about, you saw him in a main event with, I forget who you said, but, Jimmy Rave, Lance Hoyt, I don't know what's going to happen with him. He may just kind of be lost in the shuffle. But Jimmy Rave, I believe, will go back to Ring of Honor. It was sad to see Rave go, but the gimmick that they gave him in TNA, I mean, I agree with the guitar around his neck and the long hair and the tag gimmick and that. I don't know. You know Jimmy Rave, right, Jose?
I think I know who you're talking about. He was on.
Good.
He was on this
great
past Thursday,
worker.
right?
Yeah. That was his final match this past Thursday. So yeah, I mean, he's good, man. He's a great worker in the ring. It's just where he winds up. I don't think he's going to head to WWE. He's great on the mic too. I mean, he's got great mic skills. But as far as WWE, that's once again just a case of the guy doesn't have the luck. You know what I mean, man? So Jimmy Rave likely back to Ring of Honor here in the next couple of weeks. Let's take you want to take another phone call or what?
Go for it.
Let's do it to it. Thane from the chat room. What's up, man? You're live on WZR Radio.
What's going on, man? I've been reading your site for a long time. First time I've actually been here in the chat and listened to the show.
Oh, thanks, man. I appreciate it.
Kind of touching on what Legend Killer said about Rave and The Rock. What do you think is going to happen with all these releases and how they're going to factor into the ROH show? And also, ROH, do you think the TV is good for them? Because it seemed to kill these today when they got the big TV deal.
Yeah, that's a good question. I don't know. The only thing about the ROH TV deal is it may be a little quick. It may be a little fast. You know what I mean? And then as far as released TNA talent going to Ring of Honor, I mean, I'm sure that Ring of Honor would be interested in guys such as Petey Williams and Jimmy Rave, especially Jimmy Rave, a guy that's been there in the past. But keep in mind that Jimmy Rave was the guy that was under the ROH booking of Gabe Sapolsky, and Gabe Sapolsky is no longer there now. So, how these new bookers and how Kerry Silken, the ROH owner, how they feel about Rave and his past work. I believe Rave would have a good shot. Petey Williams, I don't see why not, just because he's got great in-ring work. Lance Hoyt, that's a little iffy. That's a little iffy on that one. You know Lance Hoyt, right? I know you don't follow too much TNA. That's why I'm trying to answer these questions.
No, it's all good. I mean, I'm actually listening and learning more. I mean, Petey Williams obviously is the one that I know out of all of them, and me personally, it would be nice to see him in the WWE, but he'll just get lost in the shuffle. Maybe if they push him like a Rey Mysterio type of character, but that's not going to happen. So I would rather have him go elsewhere rather than, of course, get lost in the shuffle. But I'm a definitely big Petey fan, though.
All right, let's get back into some news, and then you guys that are on the phone lines, hold on, and for the final 5 minutes, I'm going to get back to some of you guys. I just want to get through a little bit of news in 5 minutes. Let me just run down a couple things. Jose, you jump in, you cut me off, man, if you got something to say about anything that I mentioned. Mickey Rourke, no Oscar on Sunday night. Poor
that
guy.
Doesn't surprise me.
It went to Sean Penn for a movie that he did, but did the WrestleMania rumors have something to do with it? It's possible. The Oscars, the Academy looks down on stuff like that. But nonetheless,
I think it was just more of his just the angle in a wrestling show or a wrestling movie per se, not so much because he blew the lid and said he was going to be at WrestleMania. I just think that just it being associated with wrestling kind of, I mean, I've seen a little bit of Sean Penn's movie, and he does play a really good, serious role, and he does that really well. He's a really awesome actor. But I don't know, because maybe I'm a wrestling fan or something to that effect, but I personally think that Mickey should have definitely picked that one up.
Yeah, no doubt. And he made this big comeback. He had gotten into some drugs and things like that a while back, and then he made a huge comeback, and this was, his big role. And the crazy thing is he held out on WrestleMania. You know what I mean? He held out for so long thinking that, if I hold out and don't do this, I can get an Oscar. And in the long run, he wouldn't have had to even held out. You know what I mean? Because
it's being reported that. I mean, we don't really know for sure if it's the holdup is because of that. You know what I'm saying?
No. It's definitely confirmed that his agents they told him. I mean, he was basically set to do a match. And his agents, Mickey has came out in numerous interviews and said, I was going to do it, and my agents, the people that are around me, told me otherwise.
Because of the Oscar, right?
Yeah, advised them not to. So, it's like, it was basically waiting for the Oscars, the Academy Awards, and then after that, then he would make the decision, you know what I mean? So, and the fact that he didn't win the Oscar is like, oh man, I waited all that time, didn't win the Oscar, now it kind of sucks, man. But no, we haven't heard anything from him anyways, you know what I mean?
Exactly. And then of course, WWE reported on their website today, I believe, that Mickey is planning to attend as a guest. So, are they going to turn around and make that as an angle, or are they going to just kind of like move away from him? And that's probably realistically, at least that's what we saw so far this week, that there might be moving away towards him in an angle perspective, and then just focusing their attention now to the Legends angle, and then just put Mickey as, the Grand Marshal of the event.
Yeah, something along those lines. Or even have him, I don't know, out there in some sort of role. Just out there as a ref or something. I don't know. I don't even know if he'll play it. We'll have to see, man. It's only been 2 days since the Oscars, so we'll have to see, when he does some more media. I'm sure there'll be some interviews out here about, post-Oscar interviews, and we'll be able to see some stuff, where they're going. Next Monday's Raw, we'll be able to see if they continue doing the Legends thing or if they even mention Mickey Rourke. They did mention him last night, but it was very brief. Jericho mentioned him.
Very brief. If they don't mention him next week, then we kind of know already what
then we
direction
know.
we're going to go to.
Exactly. Here's a couple quick hits for you guys. CM Punk and Kelly Kelly. There's talk of them beginning a storyline with Kane. That's according to some house show lineups that I've been looking at. It would be for the IC title, Kane and CM Punk. Could lead into Mania. Well, no, because CM Punk would be in Money in the Bank. So we'll have to wait and see. But anyways, CM Punk, Kelly Kelly, Kane, possibly after WrestleMania. They may be doing something along those lines. Trish at WrestleMania 25. The only update, guys, is they have reached out to her. It wouldn't shock me to see her come in and do a match. It would likely either be with Beth Phoenix or Michelle McCool, or they could have a Divas Battle Royal. But I think it would be good to get, do a one-on-one match, big return match at WrestleMania for Trish. But the two people that will be up first to face her would be Phoenix and McCool. What else? Oh, Bobby Heenan. I want to talk about Bobby Heenan. He's doing better. Things were down. He was using a chalkboard to communicate with people. He's starting to get starting to get communication back, and he's out of the hospital, and he's actually going to attend a spring training baseball game in the next couple of weeks. We've had Bobby Heenan here on WZR Radio numerous times, me and Boone, over the years, and he was an awesome guy to talk to. Hilarious. He used to have this thing up where we would mention somebody's name, like we'd just be talking, regulars just ranting back and forth, talking, doing the interview, and out of nowhere, like we would bring up, Hulk Hogan said this, Bobby, and all of a sudden in the background, you hear a toilet flush. And he'd be like, Hulk Hogan? And he'd say, Hulk Hogan? Who? And then he'd put the phone up to the toilet. It was, dude, and it happened over and over. And every time we interviewed him, he'd do it. It was like an ongoing joke that we had with him. So it was sad to, it was really sad to see him, the way that he was. So nonetheless, we were shooting back and forth in an email, and he is doing much better. So that's great news.
That's good. That's awesome news. I mean, I remember growing up watching Primetime Wrestling and Wrestling Challenge, and seeing Bobby Heenan with his gimmicks. And it's funny because when I was a kid, you know, when we used to have those little wrestling dolls and wrestling, I always try to imitate Bobby Heenan with his little slapstick comedy. Because it's just, he's hilarious, and he shoots it from the hip, which is even funnier.
All right, Jose, it's 8:57 on the live show. We got to wrap this shindig up. I know some of you guys are still on the line. Hopefully, you guys, the guy from New Hampshire, the guy from Northern Georgia, Legend Killer, guys, just shoot me an email, webmaster@ProWrestlingScoops.com. Send me your feedback, too, on the live show, guys. Me and Jose, I always put out a post after the show, and only a couple of you guys email. There's so many listeners. So just, I'm going to put it out here in a couple minutes. Give me an email, webmaster@ProWrestlingScoops.com. I'll let Jose do his email here when he does his plugs, too. And you know, just give us an email of, you know, what you guys think about the show and, you know, what we could do better. You know, we're going to be giving away some stuff here. I'll give away another game next week. You guys just got to remind me, and I'll do that next week. So that's it, man. Let's wrap this shindig up. Well, here's all my plugs. ProWrestlingScoops.com. Lots of news over there. TheWrestlingAnswer.com. Lots of galleries over there. Updated women galleries. My TNA website, like I said, TNA live spoiler coverage every Monday and possibly Tuesday, but definitely Monday nights over there. TNAWrestlingNews.com, TNA News all day, every day. MMAScoops.com is my MMA website. And, of course, the official website of WZR Radio is WZROnline.com. Get on over there and sign up for an account. Jose.
My turn. It's Wrestle Community. Over 360 members, or maybe more or less, I don't recall, but WrestleCommunity.com, your one-stop social networking. It's almost just like a MySpace, Facebook, but strictly for wrestling fans. WrestleCommunity.com. Of course, our other site is WrestleSite.com, a site that's been around since like ever, 1996, and bookmark those, and we'll see you on there.
Long time. And, guys, check out that WrestleCommunity.com site, Jose's website. It really is a cool site. It's like MySpace for wrestling fans, and you guys can get cold beers sent to you over there and lots of other cool stuff. And members are coming. You guys are slowly getting members, and, you know, it's building itself. So that's cool, man. It's a real cool thing.
The funny thing about it, this past week, we actually got plugged by a Portugal sports site that brought in almost maybe 50 or so people signed up for Portugal, which is amazing, because it actually brought in over 900 clicks. I just looked at my counter, but 900 clicks off of this sports article in Portugal. So that's pretty cool stuff.
Yeah, no doubt. That is awesome.
I don't understand what the article said because it's in Portuguese, but still, it's still cool.
No, congrats on that. No doubt. I saw that the other day. So, with that said, I see President Obama's about to come on my TV screen. You guys catch that? Yeah, it just came on, the breaking NBC news. That thing just came on. But nonetheless, we have ECW starting as well. Next week, guys, we'll be back 7 to 9 Eastern time. Maybe I'll go to the house show this weekend. Maybe not. If I do, I'll run it down next week. Lots of news next week as well. Raw rundown and lots of other stuff. Of course, check out the official website of WZR Radio, WZROnline.com. That's it for this week, guys, for Jose Rivera. And this is Ryan Clark saying, see you next Tuesday, 7 to 9 Eastern time. Where, Jose?
WZR Radio.